Okay, this video will describe the proposed undergraduate concentration in the kinesiology major titled Medical and Rehabilitative Health Science. This concentration, as you might glean from the title, focuses on the field of medicine and on careers in medicine and health. It's not strictly, and I want to emphasize, it's not strictly targeting pre-med students in our major. It is targeting pre-med students in our major, but not only pre-med students in our major. It's serving a much broader range of students than simply those that are intending to finish their kinesiology degree and go on to medical school. It's serving a variety of students who are intending to finish their kinesiology degree and go on to another level of professional training in a medical field, which is already a popular focus of students in our existing major. The focus of this concentration specifically will be under that umbrella of medicine and health sciences to examine human physiology and movement at a variety of scales, from the whole body level all the way down to the molecular level. As an aside, Ross Miller, the narrator for this presentation, if that wasn't obvious, this is how I've recently reorganized how I teach KNES 300. I used to focus it on teaching the different categories of mechanics, or organize it in different categories of mechanics like kinetics and kinematics and linear and angular and things like that. I've recently reorganized it to present the class in order of different scales of the body, from the whole body level all the way down to the cellular and molecular level, and emphasizing how biomechanics and mechanics in general can speak to how the body works at those different scales and different levels. And I found it to be an effective way to teach that material, and I think it can be an effective way to teach kinesiology and medical science in general. This concentration, to that end, will combine basic clinical and translational research in the curriculum that the students will take to integrate learning from bench to bedside, and will incorporate as its main disciplines biology, physiology, and psychology to give a multidisciplinary approach for future careers in health and rehabilitative medicine for our students. The career pathways served by this concentration, which I've touched on a little bit already, will primarily be students going on or intending to go on to careers as physicians or physician's assistants, physical therapy or occupational therapy. And that right there is a pretty large chunk of our existing undergraduate students in terms of what they're focusing on currently in the existing major. Pre-med students, pre-PA, pre-PT, pre-OT. That's a large chunk of the majors in our the majors in our major that are intending to go on to those careers after they finish their degree here. But this concentration won't strictly serve just those students. It could also serve students interested in other relevant careers with kinesiology connections in medicine, such as chiropractic or cardiac rehab or prosthetics. This concentration could also serve as a launching pad at the undergraduate level for students interested in going on to graduate school, to a research-based graduate degree, at least in certain disciplines of kinesiology, primarily exercise physiology or biomechanics or motor control. The curriculum of this concentration will, at its core, will be very similar to the existing curriculum of our kinesiology major as is. They'll have the same foundation courses with the math requirement and the biology courses and intros to kinesiology and public health. They'll then still take the same unadjusted kinesiology core, all 7 courses there, and have the same physical activity requirements. Where this concentration deviates from the existing major is in the options the students will take. And they'll take 2 different categories of options: kinesiology options and concentration options. The kinesiology options will be selected from a truncated list of our available offerings for options courses. The students will select 5 such courses, and at least 4 of them must be at the 300-400 level. The reason that this is 5 courses instead of 4 like it typically is that this concentration does not require KNES 497 as a required course for students to take. They can still take KNES 497, but they don't have to take KNES 497. So to get those credits to balance out, then they're now taking 5 kinesiology options rather than 4 kinesiology options. The lower level courses here that they could choose from are courses like the science of physical activity, cardiovascular health, and the upper level options they could choose from are courses like exercise and brain health or exercise metabolism. Essentially, these are courses with prereqs typically belonging to KNES 300 or 350 or 360 or 385, courses typically taken by students that are intending to go on to PT school or med school or to a post-grad program like that. The concentration electives, here students would take 3 of these courses or would pick 3 of these courses. Essentially, many students in this concentration would probably be taking many of these concentration electives, but we would allow 3 of them to count for credit towards their kinesiology degree. The reason that they would take probably many of these is that most of these courses, and if you look at this list, it's some math courses, physics, chemistry, biology, psychology. Most of these courses on this list are categorically something that students will need to have on their transcript to be eligible for a lot of med school enrollment or med school admissions and PT school admissions and a lot of medical related, health related postgrad programs. And so these concentration electives down here are trying to package that in a little more student-facing, streamlined way for them, and also giving them a little bit of credit towards their degree for taking those courses rather than just having them eat up general elective courses. In terms of expected size and additional resources needed to offer this major, for size, this one's going to be large. Like I mentioned previously, I think most of our students in the major, and I don't think it's an exaggeration to say most, like more than 50%, at least upon entry into the major, are planning to do some sort of pre-PT, pre-med, pre-OT, pre-health something type track where they're intending to go on to a post-grad program or more school with specialized professional level training in their intended career. And so this one's probably going to be quite a large concentration. I anticipate if we have multiple concentrations, this one will be the largest. By far, this could feasibly have hundreds of students in it, maybe 500 plus students in it at any given time. I don't think that's too much of an exaggeration. Given that we are requiring this large number of students to choose from an abbreviated list of upper level options courses, we're probably going to have to teach those options courses more often, and so that could be a challenge with offering this concentration here. I think that problem will largely solve itself by removing KNES 497 as a required course, meaning we won't need to teach so many sections of 497 so often, and the folks that typically teach those sections on a frequent basis will have some of their teaching load freed up to teach their 400 level options or their upper level options more frequently. And so I think while this is a concern, I think this is a problem that we can solve by not requiring 497. Despite the size of the expected size of this concentration, I don't think any additional resources will be needed to offer it effectively and to teach it effectively for our students to enroll in it and to graduate in a timely fashion. Many of our students are essentially already doing this concentration informally and with the assistance of our advising staff being guided towards meeting these requirements for PT school or med school or whatever program they're intending to go in. And so really here we're just formalizing a concentration that a lot of students are informally already pursuing. So just to reiterate, despite the expected size of it, I think we can teach it now as is with our existing instructional staff without any additional hires or without increasing anybody's teaching load.